Alright, this is Unit 8, Formative 1, Video 3. We are going to find GCFs, which are greatest common factors, and factor trinomials. Alright, so very similar to what we've been doing, except today, there's going to be a greatest common factor. So we have negative x squared plus 3x plus 28. Okay? If we remember, we have a leading negative, so we know we need to factor out a negative 1. Okay, so because you can never have a leading negative. So I'm going to factor out a negative 1, and when I do that, it just changes all the signs. Okay. Now, since we have a trinomial, we need to break our trinomial up into our two parentheses, okay? And we have an x, so we're going to split our x up, okay? And now, off to the side, we're going to do our table. So we have 8 times c and b. So 8 times c is 1 times negative 28, which is negative 28. And then our b term is negative 3. So again, I want factors of negative 28 that are going to add up to negative 3. So to multiply to get a negative, you have to multiply a negative and a positive. Okay, so I have negative 1 and 28. When I add them, I get 27, and that's not what we want. So 2 will go into it. So negative 22 and 14 is 12. Okay, I want negative 3, so that's not going to work. 3 won't go in, 4 will. So negative 4 and 7. I get a positive 3, but remember I want a negative 3, so I'm going to switch my signs. Okay, and this is what I'm going to want. Okay, now remember these coefficients are 1s, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go ahead and put negative 7 there and 4. So negative 7 and 4. Okay, and that's my answer. Alright, next one. So we have 35k to the second plus 25k minus 10. So 5 will go into all of these. Okay, so I'm going to factor a 5 out. And that gets 7k to the second plus 5k minus 2. Okay, now it's a trinomial, so we got to try to factor. Okay, so remember it has something other than a 1, so I'm going to bring down the 7k to the first one, and I'm going to split my k's up. So the other k is going to go to the right. Make your table. So we have a times c, and then it has to equal b. So 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, and b is 5. Okay. So again, we're multiplying to get a negative. So I know one has to be negative and one has to be positive. So negative 1 and 14 is 13. Don't want that. Negative 2 and 7 is 5, and I want a 5. So these are going to be my two problems, or my two answers. Okay. We're going to draw our little lines. Now, 7 is our coefficient. So which one of these two numbers 7 goes into? And 7 will go into 7. So I know my 7 has to go down here and my negative 2 here. Okay. Now, remember, you want 7 times what will equal 7? Or how many times will 7 go into 7? And the answer is 1. So that goes there. And then this one, remember, we always just bring it up, okay, into the parentheses. Okay, so that's that one. Next one, so I have 10x squared minus 26x minus 56, and I believe it's 2. We'll go into all of those. So I'm going to factor 2 out. So 10 divided by 2 is 5x squared. Negative 26 divided by 2 is negative 13x. And negative 56 divided by 2 is negative 28. Okay. All right, so it's a trinomial, so I'm going to split it up. I'm going to bring down my 5x and my x. And our table, a times c and b. So a times c, so 5 times negative 28 is negative 140. And then my b term is negative 13. Okay. So negative 140 is going to have a lot. So we need to, first of all, we need to multiply to get a negative. So I know I have a positive and a negative. So negative 1 and 140 gives me 139. Don't want that. Negative 2 and 70 gives me 68. I don't want that. See if 3 will go into it. No, 4 will. So negative 4 and 35 gives me 31. I don't want that. 5 will. So 5 will go into 140 28 times. That gives me 23. I'm getting closer, but not there yet. So I don't think 6 will go in. And I'm just using the calculator and trying it. 7 will. So negative 7 and 20 gives me 13. But I want a negative 13, so I'm going to switch my signs. Okay, so that's going to be my answer. So let's draw our lines. Which one of these will 5 go into? Well, 5 will go into negative 20. So I know my negative 20 needs to go here, and my 7 up there. Okay, so we want to know 5 times what will equal negative 20? And that's going to be a negative 4. And then this just goes right up here, and we have our answer.